Hi there, this is Lee McQueen, and I'm talking about public affairs and the fact that Congress has been working on some interesting legislation. It's the Sentencing Reform and Corrections Act, and unfortunately, it's stalled right now prior to the end of the summer session. Charles Grassley, Republican from Iowa, is saying that he doesn't see how it's going to get done before July 15th, and that's the day the senators depart from Washington, and they won't return until after Labor Day. And so Dick Durbin, he's the he's a senator from Illinois, and he's the second ranking Democrat in the chamber. And so he is an author, one of the authors of the Justice Reform Bill. And he's saying that it doesn't seem like there's much hope. Um, Texas Senator John Cornyn is a Republican, and he's also a lead sponsor of the measure. And he said he hoped that it would move more quickly, but time is running out, and they're not even sure that they'll be able to pass that bill this year. It goes on to the article from Real Clear Politics goes on to mention that Barack Obama had been working quietly trying to lobby lawmakers from both parties to encourage passage of the justice reform legislation. And he's been touting the benefits of that for a little bit more than a year. Seemed kind of optimistic at first and a good legacy, but time is running out. Although, according to Valerie Jarrett, he's still continuing to hold out hope. And so Barack Obama is just pointing to the cost savings, safety, and justice rationales, and just the overall public safety issue that the act would bring. So he drove home that point by even going so far as to commute the sentences of approximately 348 nonviolent drug offenders. He met with some of those offenders and visited them on the federal cell block. And so, still, progress is moving slowly on that sentencing reform bill. And there's bipartisan support. It's just there's also outside influences outside both houses that are influencing and stalling that legislation. According to this article, it's the Koch brothers who have decided to interfere. They are not elected officials or representatives of any state in the United States or even any district in the United States. They're just very rich. And so they've decided that they want to interfere in our political system and stall our legislation. And this is just one very wrong and unfortunate example of money in politics interfering with what we do see as bipartisan support for rational sentencing laws for nonviolent drug offenders. The Koch brothers have interfered with that, actually influencing Republican senators who might otherwise support that legislation and move more quickly on it, using their money because the Koch brothers are using their money to influence these Republican senators because the Republican senators depend on the Koch brothers for their campaigns. And so this is just a really poor example of how money in politics actually harms ordinary citizens. People are hoping to be treated fairly and rationally by the criminal justice system, and even law enforcement is hoping for this. And then we have the Koch brothers who are using their money to influence um, our political system. So this is just yet again proof that we are living in an oligarchy today. People are saying we don't want to or we think we will, and the oligarchy is here. The oligarchy is here. The Koch brothers are clearly part of that oligarchy. I mean, they even go so far as to support Hillary Clinton. They're making sure that they cover all their bases. So we're hoping that there's a change and that while things are stalled now because we have many of our lawmakers who are bought and bossed by the Koch brothers, they don't respond to the people. They're not representing the people. They're representing the Koch brothers. Um, but hopefully we'll have new leadership in Washington, and I'm hoping it's not Hillary Clinton because she was one of the people who lobbied for the crime bill, which caused this problem in the first place, and she is also one who receives support from the Koch brothers. She's apparently their best girl now. Bernie Sanders is not. And so I'm really hoping that for the sake of even this legislation, among other pieces of legislation, that Bernie Sanders prevails. Many lives depend on Bernie Sanders winning this election, not only the Democrat primary, but this election, so people can finally come out from under this harsh, future killing, dream killing criminal justice system that has treated them unfairly. So again, we have to watch this issue very carefully, and I'll post a link to this article about the reform bill, the sentencing and reform bill, in the description.